What's up with it? My name is Erica LeShai. I talk about all sorts of things, whatever tickles my fancy on a particular day. We gonna get into it because I feel like it's a lot of people out here that don't have no friends. There's a lot of commentary about whether or not having any friends is a red flag. And, I know a lot of people have dealt with toxicity, people not having their best interest at hand. And I've dealt with it personally. I know what it feels like to be betrayed on a massive scale. But at the same time, we cannot allow that to make us loners. I'm not trying to hurt no feelings. Let me just preface this by saying I'm not trying to hurt no feelings. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not none of that other kind of stuff. I'm just a person talking online with an opinion. We encounter all sorts of people, right? Yes, there are raggedy people in the world. Yes, it is an abundance of raggedy people in the world, but not everybody is raggedy. The CDC talks about social connection and it talks about the health effects of social isolation and loneliness. Let's get into it. It defines social isolation as is not having relationships, contact with, or support from others. It also defines loneliness as the feeling of being alone, disconnected, or not close to others. And social isolation and loneliness put a person at risk of developing serious mental and physical health conditions. This is not some rhetoric that I got from a podcast or another different YouTube video. This is literally from the cdc.gov. What are these detrimental effects? Some of you guys may ask. The health impacts of social isolation. I'm having a hard time saying that. Social isolation. The health impacts of social isolation and loneliness can increase a person's risk for heart disease and stroke, type 2 diabetes, depression and anxiety, unaliving yourself and self-harm, dementia, and earlier passing away. So these are the health impacts that have been documented from social isolation and loneliness. I'm stumbling all over this. You guys, excuse me. Let me see if I can make this font bigger. It's my, I can't really see all that good. Let me zoom in so I can read this and not be stumbling and fumbling all over my words. This is what it is. It says, take loneliness serious. And this is from the American Medical Association. Loneliness is something to be taken seriously, said Dr. Bell Washington. Social isolation and loneliness lead to higher risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, anxiety, depression, memory issues, and even passing away. The same things that we needed as little kids, we need as adults too. So of course you need sleep, healthy food, and physical activity, but you also need connection. According to the CDC and the American Medical Association, this is something that we need just as much as we need food, water, sleep, physical activity. In building relationships, number one is to use discernment. Determine who's worthy of building a relationship with. Look at the people around you and decide who you're going to give that effort to. Because relationships, whether or not they're platonic or romantic, require effort. People that show up for you, people that you can call and they answer your calls and they get right back to you. Those are people that are worth building relationships with. People that is like pulling teeth, getting in contact with them, and they only hit you up when they need something, use discernment. That's probably not the type of person worth building a relationship with. You know what I'm saying? So that's first thing first. Determine who you're going to invest time and energy to. And time and energy invested into good people is never a waste. Never a waste. So thing number two is observe how they react to reasonable boundaries. And I mean reasonable boundaries, because everybody got boundaries, right? They come right up. Bam. That wall come right up soon as somebody step outside of the way I want them to behave. People that understand reasonable boundaries are not going to get mad when you have reasonable boundaries. The only person that tries to sidestep a gate or a boundary is a thief. People that are not trying to take anything away from you have no problem coming to the front gate and waiting for you to open up. But people that want to take from you, people that are thieves and want to steal, they don't like gates. They don't like boundaries. So that's the number one thing. If you set a boundary and they get upset, then you know that that's probably not someone that you build a relationship with. But if they're okay and they respect your boundaries, please do not let that person slip away. Take the time and the energy to cultivate something real with a real one. Thing number three, be transparent about your feelings. And this is something I really had to I had to study on doing this. You might get your feelings hurt. Like somebody, a friend could say something to you to hurt your feelings and you won't say anything. You just get mad and be like, well, they offended me, but they don't even know. How are they going to correct it, or how you guys going to come to an understanding if you never even told them what was wrong? So be transparent with how you feel. If something is bothering you, or if there's some type of issue going on, communicate with that person. Because sometimes people around you can see you better than you can see yourself. And that's why it's so wonderful having solid people around, because they can hold you accountable for your nonsense. You should hold yourself accountable as well, but it's good to have people around you, and not just yes men, but people that's going to tell it like it is. The fourth thing, you feel me, thing number 4 is to discuss misunderstandings and conflict. I read in this one book that said the other side of conflict is love. You know, when I used to work at Bank of America, they said that, like, if you have a bad interaction with a customer, but you fix it, that customer will be even more loyal than a customer that you never had an issue with. And relationships work the same way. It's when you guys go through conflict and issue, and how you deal with that can strengthen, it can literally make or break the relationship. So if you address misunderstandings and conflicts head on, that could literally strengthen the friendship. My best friend, we've had several conflicts. We've had several misunderstandings. And as a result, it's like, there's no way we're not going to be friends. We might get mad at each other and not talk for a couple of weeks, but then we pick back up that phone and be like, you know what? I was tripping, or, you were right, or whatever the case may be. And on the other side of that conflict is love. And I could honestly say that I love her. She is like, she's not my biological sister, but she might as well be, because that's how I feel about her. Discuss misunderstandings and conflicts. That's very, very important for any type of relationship. You know what I'm saying? Any type of relationship. And the last thing, the fifth thing, is put in the effort to communicate and show up. We live in a very microwave day and age nowadays. No one wants to work to have something good, right? We feel like everything should be handed to us. And I'm blaming participation trophies. I'm just going to say that right now. When soon as society started doing participation trophies and people started getting rewarded for nothing, I knew we were on a downwards incline. I just knew it. I knew it was coming. But the participation trophy and the microwave generation has us believing that we should get all the benefit with none of the effort. You don't get the benefit of a solid lifelong friend without any of the effort. And it's not being petty either, because I know a lot of times it's like, well, I'll call her last. If she don't call me, then we just won't talk. Like, what is that? People get busy with life. If you think about them, call them. You know what I'm saying? Extend yourself for people that are worth it. If you're giving all this energy and you're showing up for them and you're being there and you're putting forth the effort to communicate and show up, and they're not doing it, then you know what you have to do. You just take a step back. In that instance, it is very warranted to take a step back from that friendship. Boasting that I don't have any friends because everybody is toxic, it can't be everybody. Everybody that knows you don't know each other. So are you telling me that all these people that are not linked to each other in any way have somehow conspired against you to be toxic to you specifically, and you alone are the sane one and everyone else is the problem? You see why that kind of gives red flag? It just gives lack of accountability. When I talk to men, even that I'm interested in dating, it's like, if all they talk about is how terrible their exes were and their exes were the problem every time, it's like, red flag. Red flag on the play. Where is the accountability? We've looked at 5 different ways that we can help to foster better relationships with people. And we also looked at the negative effects of loneliness and not being socially connected. And I feel like as time progresses on, there will be more studies about this and about how it is impacting the generations that are coming up. Because a lot of times you met your significant other through mutual friends, you know? But if you don't have any friends or mutual friends or acquaintances or anything like that, how are we going to? It just makes things a little more difficult. The point I'm making is this. Do not be afraid to get back on that horse like you were in kindergarten or the first grade and go out there and make friends. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Most definitely subscribe. That's all I have to say. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you for tuning in. Take the time and the energy to cultivate something real with a real one.